everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the OurMFC podcast. I hope you are all having an amazing week. Because by the time you hear this, obviously you'll have seen the game on Monday, which is what we're going to talk. I'm recording this on a Tuesday, by the way. So for anyone that doesn't know when we normally record on a Monday. Um, but obviously, with the game being yesterday, we were there, so we couldn't record yesterday. Recording on Tuesday, so yeah, we'll give you our thoughts to on the game, the Boro v Sunderland, and then we will get into a little bit of news, and that'll kind of round off the podcast like we normally do. So it is just me today. Matty isn't available, and I just want to give out a quick apology for not being able to put one out last week. It was Bank Holiday Monday, and then we just had it's been so crazy lately. So thank you guys for bearing with us, sticking with us. But yeah, let's get straight into it today. So, um, oh my word, what? Let's start with the build up. The announcer decided to not like he cut the music, um, he played Pig Bag and then cut the rest. So obviously the players were coming out, da, 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 and then like he cuts it, and you can literally feel the atmosphere from every single stand. The Sunderland fans included, they chipped in, they added to it as well. But you could tell every single fan in that stadium was right up for it, absolutely up for it. The energy was there, everyone was buzzing, everyone, it was just it's one of them games where, Sunderland fans will say, well, they only seem to say it's not a derby when they lose, which, to be fair, has been the last decade. We've beat them, or they haven't beat us in the last decade. So it's a pretty good record to have. Um, so yeah, they're going to have to keep saying it's not a derby for quite a while. Um, but yeah, it's just one of them games where it's the closest thing that we've got to a derby. I mean, I guess the closest place really is Hartlepool, but we never really see Hartlepool as a derby. That's more of a like I don't know, it's more of a friendly type game, isn't it? It's not you don't have any angst with, and you don't really know why you have angst with these local games, but it just kind of means more. It's like bragging rights, local bragging rights. But yeah, I think every fan went into that game just so hyped for it, and you could literally feel the energy. Like the stadium was buzzing for it as well, which was really good. And then we get straight into the game, um, and we started on the front foot. I said in the last few games that we've kind of sat back a little bit. The first half, the first 20 minutes have been quite poor. There's only been a few games where we've been right at it. Um, but this was one of them. We started really strong. Sunderland couldn't handle Giles on that left and Jones on the opposite side on the right. Um, just absolutely lethal pace, change of direction. Like the defenders, both flanks are now so unpredictable that when defenders are going in, they don't know if Giles is going to cut inside, whether he's going to play a quick 1-2, whether he's going to like check, drop his shoulder and then go to the byline and put a ball in. The same with Jones on the other side. He either hits the byline, does a little trick to beat his man, or he cuts inside. Like every time they get the ball, the defender he doesn't know what to do, which is really, really good to have. And you could see that in that first half, that first 10 minutes especially, we were absolutely relentless. Um, we had a couple of chances, a couple of good balls in, um, but then Sunderland actually hit us on the break. Um, I can't remember how it breaks free. I think it's Matt Clark. He gets caught napping a bit, turns, and the striker's putting pressure on him, and he kind of fumbles a bit on the ball. Clark gets tackled. Their striker, which I thought, to be fair, I know Ross Stewart, their obviously their main attacking threat and one that is really, he's a handful. Um, he got injured in the warm up, but I thought that I can't remember what he was called. Their striker, their number nine, I thought he looked really, really good. I thought he was quite strong, he was physical, hold up play was good. Anyway, he picks the ball up after taking it off Clark, um, dribbles towards the box, puts a nice through ball across, and I don't know how, but Pritchard has got free. I'm talking just inside just inside the 18-yard box. And to be fair, he's probably got time to take a touch and then take the shot, but he doesn't. It's a decent weighted ball across, and he fizzes it first time, and it goes over the bar. Um, but wow, my heart was in my mouth because that could have easily and should have been 1-0 Sunderland. And then from then on, it's a totally different game. You've got to get yourself back into the game when, their fans are on top, they're on top. Like, it just makes it a lot harder for you. But thankfully, never. And we kept going, we kept pushing. Like I say, that first half, I was really, really impressed. We looked like a proper Wilder side again. We look like that team that is high pressing. There's lots of tempo. There's quick combinations. We're unpredictable, taking shots. Like, that's the type of football that we have been wanting to see. And sometimes we've seen the results, or we've seen the performances. Sorry, but there hasn't been the results to go with it. But in this instance, like, wow, yeah, the performance was there. Got a few shots off, which was really, really good. McGree, wow, he was so lively in that first half. I think he must have had four, maybe five shots. Um, there was a couple where I think he personally should do better. He there's one instance where the ball gets cut across. I think the keeper like parries it out, and then he's running in and he hits it into the ground. And it just goes over the bar. There's another one where he plays a 1-2 on the edge of the box with Crooks. He gets it first time, and he tries to bend it in the bottom left corner, but he kind of scuffs it off his heel, so he doesn't really get the connection that he wants and to bend it around the keeper. But he looked really, really lively. And I was saying before the game that I wanted to start with two up top. I didn't want to start really with. I'd like McGree in there, but I was going to drop more for Watmore and have Watmore and Muniz up top. So for me, McGree really needed to put a shift in, impressing that number 10 role, which we know he can do, and that's where he's best. He's like a little magician. Um, and yeah, like I say, well, what a performance he put in. I mean, everyone in that first half for me was a 10, but him in particular, his creativity on the ball, his liveliness, his eagerness to get a shot off, yeah, really, really impressive, and was what kind of made us tick. You could see that he was right up for it. And with his energy leading the line with Muniz, who, fair play to him, chased every single ball down. Yeah, it really like fed throughout the team, which was really, like I say, really good to see. Um, but yeah, what happens is to leading up to the goal. Obviously, we've had loads of possession. We're taking shots on goal, putting Sunderland under pressure. It was gonna come. You could feel it. It was coming. The fans could feel it. It was just a matter of time. Um, Giles gets the ball. I think it's Clark passes the ball out to Giles. Giles puts a ball in, and to be fair, he gets a little bit lucky because he goes to take a touch, and then it kind of bounces off the defender in front of him, which pushes it on into the box, and he's like kind of close to the 6-yard box. And then as McGree's pulled back to take a shot, the defender has slid in, pushed it a little bit further forwards, and then McGree's followed in for a shot, and it's kind of like came off his toe end and gone under the keeper. Um, Look, we don't care how they're going, as long as they're going. That's all that matters. The goal's a goal at the end of the day. And wow, when that went in, I think the lad in front of me must have crowd. So I'm sure he must have gone down about 5 or 6 rows. Like, it was pretty impressive, like how far he'd gone. But yeah, the limbs, the scenes when that went in, like I mentioned before, about the atmosphere, about the fans being right up for it. Like all of that build up, all of that energy just kind of like erupted as soon as that goal went in. Yeah, absolute limbs, absolute scenes. If you haven't seen the highlights, go and watch highlights because I must have watched that goal like 100 times, and especially with the Sky commentary because he literally shouts McGree, and then you can feel the stadium like bouncing. Honestly, unbelievable scenes. Really, 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 really good. Um, but yeah, and we go 1-0 up, well deserved. Um, like I say, all we fully deserved the lead. We dominated the ball. We're pressing them. So just well deserved. That you can't. We should have and could have been 3-4 nil up in that first half. There was no reason why if we hadn't converted them chances. I know Crooksy had a couple of headers as well. There's no reason why if we didn't convert them chances, you go 2-3 nil up. That's game over then. I think it's only because we never put the game to bed earlier, which is maybe one disappointment that Wilder can take from the game. One thing that he could go, actually, we can work on that, and it, makes you a bit more clinical in the next game. But yeah, that for me, that's the only downside in that first half. I thought we were absolutely excellent and, like I say, well deserved of that lead. But then second half, it's a game of two halves, and whatever Tony Mowbray said, and I didn't touch on that, but obviously nice to have Mogger back at the ground. I know he was there for the George Campbell statue unveiling. Um, which was good to see. A couple of legends there, Bernie Slaven, Matt Proctor. I think Mador was there, Pally was there. So yeah, there's a few Boro legends there, and obviously Mogger had gone, so that was good. Um, but yeah, managing Sunderland, we all rate Mogger. I wouldn't be surprised if, given the money, he would have done some serious work with that Boro team, and he got a team with like Marvin Emnes, Faris Haroun, like seventh. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, he knows how to manage a good side. He did well at Blackburn. I think he was unlucky not to stay on there. Um, didn't quite get the money, the back in. Um, felt a little bit hard done by, but yeah, he's took over Sunderland. So great job for him. But yeah, he must have gave them a rocket up their arse at half time because they came out fighting. Yeah, they were without Ross Stewart, and I've seen a lot of Sunderland fans say that, but for me, that's not an excuse. Yeah, well, I guess it is a bit because we do the same if we'd lost our best player, but you find other ways to win, don't you? There's plenty of players in that team that they brought in some exciting players in the summer. They brought in Diallo, and a couple of other exciting young signings, but it is a very young squad. And I think that's maybe where they might struggle. But to be fair, in a manager like Moggy, you can always get the best out of young players. Um, but yeah, Sunderland in that second half dominated more of the ball. They were switching it well. Roberts, obviously, we know Connor Roberts well from his time at Boro. He's not afraid to take people on, and he's quick, he's agile, he's unpredictable. But I think we did well defensively, and that's the first time I've ever said. Well, it's the first time I've said that this season that we looked defensively solid. We looked as a unit, and part of the reason to do with that is because the lighthouse is back. Dale Fry is back. Obviously Lenihan was injured, so he missed this one. We weren't sure until we seen the lineup, but yeah, confirmed it. So the lighthouse stepped in, and wow, was he up for that? Did he put a shift in? There was no way he was going to lose that game. Out of every player on that pitch, there was no way. Borough born and bred, there was no way he was going to lose that game. Absolutely resolute in that second half. First half for me, he didn't have too much to do, but second half, him, Matt Clark, obviously Paddy went off injured, so Jake Steele came on. Them three at the back, very solid, touch tight to the players. As soon as they got the ball, bang straight on him. If they didn't get it, the other one was covering. But yeah, the amount of times that they would try and feed the ball through because their striker, he had a bit of pace on him, to be fair. Um, but Dale Fry just gave himself 5 yards, let the ball go over him, and then he'd either play it to Roberts, or he'd, like the keeper Roberts, or he'd turn out and play it up the line. But yeah, wow, absolutely. So he made some vital blocks as well, because there was a couple of times where they put balls in, cut back, and he was in the way. Um, yeah, there was a few times that he had that, and I don't know, I don't necessarily know, I couldn't pinpoint exactly what it was, but we just didn't seem as calm on the ball. We couldn't actually get a hold of the ball. When we had the ball, to be fair to Sunderland, they were pressing us, so they were forcing us long. And then when it was forcing us long, we couldn't win the first ball or the second ball. And if you don't win the first ball, you have to win the second ball. It makes all the difference. And as soon as you start losing that second ball, that's when you feel the change in momentum. And like I said, they were winning all the headers, they were winning the second balls, and that's where it kind of changed for me. I can't pinpoint like certain players or the formation, but yeah, their press led to us forcing it long, and it just couldn't stick up top. I thought Muniz did well. He looked lively. He was challenging for every header. His leapfrog over McGray. If you haven't seen that, go and have a look. Um, but yeah, yeah, it was it. I was nipping it a bit. I barely had any nails. Come the end of it, let's just say that. Um, but yeah, nothing like too testing really. They did have a couple of one-on-ones. I know Diallo, when he came on, he looked very dangerous. He's going to be a good player for them this season. And he came forward and he was one-on-one with Clark, I think it was. But to be fair to Clark, he didn't go to ground. He stuck with him, kind of forced him wide a bit, or forced him to turn back. And then he plays a little back heel and it doesn't work out. And then I think Howson's recovering and he kicks the ball out. But yeah, and one player that we have to mention is Liam Roberts. Wow, obviously summer signing from Northampton. He was Player of the Year there, League Two Player of the Year as well, I believe. Um, what a game! What a game! Considering, he's obviously signed Zach Steffen from Man City. He is, you expect to be your number one. Liam Roberts knew exactly what he was coming here for. He knew that he was going to be our number two. He knew that he would have to be ready when he was called upon. Um, he hasn't played much football. He played in the Carabao Cup against Barnsley, played a little bit in pre-season, and then he's had a little spell the last couple of games while Steffen's been out injured. Well, not injured. I think it's illness. I was surprised to see no Steffen again last night. So I haven't seen Wilder clear that up actually. So I'm not. I presume it's still illness. But anyhow, Roberts, no, in that starting 11 again. Um, and what a performance! What a performance! The same when we played Swansea, so calm on the ball. Um, very commanding of his box. He made some really, really important saves. But most importantly, every time a ball was put in the box, you knew, you felt confident that Roberts was there. He was going to collect it and he was going to bring it in. Any balls in the air, it felt safe. It felt like it was going to stick. And for me, yeah, unbelievable performance from Roberts. He made some vital saves. He, like I say, commanded his area well. He, most importantly, which some keepers don't, the rush. When they've maybe caught it and you're 1-0 up, it's getting late on, they'll have a tendency to try and spring the counter attack. When there's 10 minutes left, you kind of want to calm the situation down, let your players get set, and then let's play again. And he did a perfect job of that. He caught the ball. He was looking, he was aware, and he just like, no, bring it in, lads, settle, get your positions, and then we'll move out. And then he'd roll it out, or he'd drop it to his feet, and then he'd play it. And to be fair, what was really good to see is every time we kicked the ball long, there was none that were going out of play, or every time he was kicking the ball, if you felt like he was forced to, or from goal kicks, it was always Crooks or Muniz, your two tallest players, and it would always reach them. And if you're reaching them every single time for that long ball, you know that you're either going to win the header or you've certainly got a good chance of challenging for it to win the second ball. Because yeah, Crooksy, Mooners, they're the type of players that they'll challenge for anything. If you pump a ball along to them, they're going to get up. They're going to try and win it. And that's exactly what they did. But yeah, Roberts did a really good job of that, finding his men, even when he was put under pressure, that calmness to just have a look. Oh, Crooksy's over there, bang, plays the ball, and then we're away or we're higher up the pitch. So yeah, for me personally, I think Stefan for me doesn't just come back into that team. Comes back from illness. He's got to push Roberts. He's got to push Roberts out of that. He's got to be waiting for Roberts to make a mistake to go right. I want that spot back because, like I say, for me, there's no way that it's his place to lose. I think I've seen the Borough breakdown put a tweet out as well. Like, yeah, it's 100% it's his place to lose because if he keeps that up, there's no way that he gets out of the team. He's solid. It's our first clean sheet this season. I can't believe it's took this long to get it. But yeah, it's our first clean sheet of the season. Um, and you know what? He deserved a clean sheet. He really, really did. His performance alone deserved a clean sheet. So yeah, definitely, superb performance. So massive shout out to Roberts there. I doubt you listen to this, but if you are, mate, keep it up and let's have some more clean sheets, eh? Um, but yeah, that kind of rounds up the game. Like I said, Sunderland were pushing to the end, and bloody hell, the ref. I don't know how it was 7 minutes added time. Um, the ref must have played like nine. I swear he played like nine. I think he was just trying to take the mick. Um, but yeah, then that final whistle goes, and my word, the it's only Borough that has the ability to make me feel every single emotion in 90 minutes. You go from happy, ecstatic to like nervous to like that anxious feeling and a sick feeling when they go one on one, like just everything. But then, yeah, when the ref blows that whistle, the euphoria of like every fan, like on the well, self stand on your feet anyway, but everywhere else, like everyone's on the feet, the dancing, the clapping, everyone's happy, everyone goes home happy. There was a bit of trouble after the game. We won't get into that. Um, because it's just laughable, really. Trying to attack a family stand and stuff. If you haven't seen it, you will have. You know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that rounds up the game. What we'll do is we'll get into the sponsors, and then we will get into some latest news to wrap it up. So the first sponsor is Family Outings Limited. So they provide like family friendly coach trips from Teesside to like national destinations, attractions, that kind of stuff. I know that they are doing one at the minute, which is to George Ezra. He's got a concert on in Newcastle, and they'll provide coaches from like Middlesbrough, Billingham, Stockton, Hartlepool. You jump on the bus, and they'll take you straight there. There's like music, toilets, and stuff in there. So if you need anything like that, any destinations like theme parks you want to go to them guys because yeah, you can get a coach straight there. Makes it super easy for you. Next one is Spencer Beck Windows Teesside. So these guys are a traditional window cleaning company based in Teesside. Obviously, we're all about promoting these local businesses. So yeah, if you're looking for a window cleaner in the area, speak to these guys because I've seen their pictures. They're good at what they do. Next one, Chris Clark Solicitors. Now, these guys aren't based in Teesside, but the owner is from Teesside. He's a massive Borough fan, and Chris reached out to us about sponsorship. Now, they established in like 1986, and they're solicitors that specialise in criminal defence, conveyancing, wills, probate, that kind of stuff. So if you are in that area, you're looking for them type of things, get in touch with Chris. He's the man to go to, and he will help you out 100%. Next one, Gracefur Martial Arts. Now, these guys, it's kind of in the name, but these guys do jiu-jitsu. The HQ, they've got one in Middlesbrough and in Hartlepool. But check out their website because they do like some insane courses. They've got as well, they've got like a timetable for different classes that they're doing, and it ranges from like young kids to all the way to adults, just like teenagers and stuff as well. So yeah, go and check them out if you want to learn some jiu-jitsu, get a bit fit. Like yeah, really really interesting. Next one is AM training and recruitment. So these guys specialize in like pre-employability training, um, working with like unemployed candidates across the Tees Valley region. So these guys, work in kind of specialist industries like engineering, manufacturing, construction, that type of stuff. And although the work primarily like in the Tees Valley region, these guys had paired people up with like international companies. So, you might, who knows? Do you know what I mean? If you are in need of a bit of advice as to there's maybe a career path you want to go down, you're not sure what skills you might need, what courses to complete, go and speak to these guys because these guys they'll help you out like massively. They've got a great recruitment rate. So yeah, go and check them out. Next one, everyone round my house for a Palmo. I'm sure lots of people said that last night, if I'm being honest. After winning that, everyone get round my house for a Palmo. Um, it's like that David Wheater towel, isn't it? We play football and eat Palmos. So yeah, everyone round my house for Palmo. This obviously is the tale of Boro's like most successful era. Um, from 2003, 2006. It goes from the McLaren Revolution, Boro winning the Carling Cup, our first ever domestic trophy, and all the way to like our UEFA Cup journey, getting to Eindhoven, playing Sevilla in the final, and Phil Spencer is a massive, well, he's just an awesome human. He's an awesome guy. We've interviewed him on here, so if you haven't seen that, go and check that out. But yeah, he wrote the book, reached out to us about um, talking more about it, sharing it with you guys, and I've read it personally. And for someone that, well, I was born in 2001, just for a bit of context, so I wasn't old enough to kind of remember them days and them games. So to be able to relive it and kind of see some of the backstories that kind of go on in the lead up to them games and stuff like that, so good. So yeah, go and check that out. Really, really good book to add to your Borough reads. The next one, Extra Time Leagues. So these guys do like 7 and 9 aside teams, like leagues where you can join tournaments for cash prizes. Really, really cool. These guys are like, if you've ever been to goals, you go with your mates, maybe play people from work, that type of stuff. You get a league to get a team together, be entered in a league. If you win that league, you win some money. Everyone's a winner. Do you know what I mean? So go and check them guys out. Extra Time Leagues on Facebook. Um, and get yourself in. I think Dimmy's played before, so if it's good enough for Dimmy, it's good enough for you. Do you know what I mean? Next one is Pure CBD. Now, these guys are basically on a mission to be, well, to retail the best CBD on the UK market. Um, these guys, any product you can think of or way to consume CBD, these guys have got it. And I mean, like everything. They've even got like CBD tea and coffee. And they've obviously got your gummies, oils, that type of stuff. Um, I haven't tried and tested it myself. So what I would say is, especially when it comes to things like CBD products as well, it does have massive benefits, but always do your research before buying. Don't just take my word for it and go out and buy it. Yeah, do some research first. But if you are looking to get some, these guys are the people to speak to. They're locally based, they know what they're talking about, and yeah, if you need any help or guidance, they'll help you out and find what product's best for you. And then one of the new sponsors just joined us. is Fleet River Music. Now, this is actually really, really interesting. Um, it is a local company that I've got some massive artists on the books. Um, they're a management and uh, like a management company for like artists and producers. Um, but yeah, what I didn't know is right if you're into kind of like house techno music like me, you'll know who the Chemical Brothers are. Now, these guys manage the the Chemical Brothers, which is just insane. Um, I love the Chemical Brothers, and to think that we've got a sponsor that that manages them, mind blowing. But yeah, if you're a an upcoming musician, producer, you kind of want to get into the industry, go and speak to these guys because these guys are the ones that have got the contacts, the know how to take you from there, like to the next level. We're talking Chemical Brothers level. So yeah, speak to Fleetwood, speak to Fleet River Music. And that rounds up the sponsors. Now we will get into a quick bit of news. Um, like I say, we don't have too much to talk about because obviously the transfer window closed. That was well nearly a week ago now. It was last Thursday. So yeah, we're talking nearly a week ago. We got no. Might as well start there. We got no signings over the line, which for me, I think it was. If you look at the transfer window as a whole, in future markets, I'm talking summer transfer windows. There's no way that Chris Wilder's going to be looking to sign 12 players. The reason we signed so many is because of the scale of the project that we had on. He has brought in or tried to bring in players that are promotion worthy, but also with an eye on, you've got one eye on this season and getting promoted this season, but one eye on the future and players that, you can potentially get the best out of, and it sounds awful, but it is a business, make a profit from. The likes of Matthew Hoppy, Marcus Force. These are players that were brought in for, a reasonable fee, but one that they're still young, a lot of potential. If we can get the best out of them, there's plenty of room for, um, yeah, there's plenty of room for a bit of profit there. Or if they come good, to take us to that next level as well. The abilities there. That's why we signed them. Um, so yeah, I think as a whole, it wasn't a bad transfer window. Um, I don't agree with some of the fans going into absolute meltdowns, saying that like, oh, this is it now, and like the season's over, and we've got no backup, and we're relying on all these players. Like, it's frustrating. And for me, the main position that we needed cover, or we needed at least one more signing in for, was that CDM role, cover housing. And I know we were in talks with Brentford for Frank Onyeka, um, and that would have been the perfect signing because he's exactly the type of player that would fill that role. He's the type of Mikel. He's just there to pick up the pieces, regain possession, pass it on, that type of stuff. That's the type of player that we were looking for. But there was one of their players, I think it was Norgard, got injured, which meant that to cover their own backs, they couldn't let him go because then they'd be short on cover. So it's understandable from their point of view, frustrating for us, and we just couldn't find a replacement quick enough. Um, but for me, it leaves the door open for a couple of younger players. You've got Hayden Hackney, Joe Gibson, um, players that have kind of been, there or thereabouts, or not far off, for quite a while. Boyd Muntz, he's trying to make the step up as well. So can he kind of force his way into the team? You don't know. One thing Chris Wilder has said though is that he will be taking a look at the free agent market, um, to try and provide depth in that defensive midfield role. Now, if you haven't already checked it out, go and look at my thread on Twitter. My tag is at Jordan Evans 1707. Go and check that out because I list like 6 players on there. You've got the likes of Tom Rogic, Danny Drinkwater, Fabian Delph, and there's a couple of other nice ones on there as well. So go and check that out. Because them for me are the best free agents that you're gonna get. Um, Realistically, personally, I don't see Fabian Delph coming to Boro. I think he's been in talks with Burnley, West Brom. It makes sense for him to go to Burnley, linking up with company again. Um, they'll be able to afford higher wages with them just coming down from the Prem. It makes more sense for him to go somewhere like that. I don't see him come to the Borough, but someone I do see come to the Borough to cover Howson for me is Danny Drinkwater. He had an all right season at Reading on loan. I know he did an interview with Sky Sports and he had a very frustrating time at Chelsea. Obviously, the player that he was in the Premier League when he was playing for Leicester and they won the Premier League, unbelievable player. He was playing out of his skin, one of the best in the Premier League at the time. Um, so he's still got it in him. You know, he's 32, so you know, he's probably not gonna play week in, week out. But like I say, to cover, you rotate him and Howson, both got plenty of experience. He wants to prove that he can still do it at level. I don't think he'll get a Premier League move. So I think for me, Championship is realistic. And if he was looking to come to a team that knows where their ambitions lie, that it is a real fighting team, it's the Borough. So for me that genuinely is realistic. As long as the wages are decent, the deal makes sense. I think well we were thinking 7-8 million for a striker. So as long as the wages aren't like extortionate, I know we probably will go back in for some permanent transfers in the January window, but you don't know if there's players outgoing there. Um, but yeah, I do. I think that's the like for like for Howson. But yeah, go and check out my thread and see the other options because, like I said, that there is still a couple. Um, and then the last bit of news was that. Where's he gone? Where's he gone? Oh yeah, we did speak about deadline day, but there was 2 outgoings. So there was Josh Coburn. He went out on loan to Bristol Rovers. Now, what will happen with him is he's staying in Rockcliffe. He's going through his recovery period, and then as soon as he's recovered, he will go join Joey Barton's Bristol Rovers. And he'll be there on loan in League One for the season. And for me, it's a fantastic move. Um, they just came up from League Two, um, but yeah, I think that's a really good move. And as long as he gets game time, there's no reason why he can't go and get goals in that. You know, he did at a championship level. Providing he gets the service, he's got all the attributes to be a really, really successful striker. And I believe he's going to be the next, big striker for Borough. And you don't really but we haven't really had that come from the youth. We've always bought from other clubs to bring in a good striker, but to have it come from the ranks is even better to see. But yeah, he's got all the attributes to be a really, really good striker. He's tall, he's physical, hell of a shot on him. Yeah, given the service, he should do really well there. And then the other one was Sam Flarin was actually a permanent transfer to Harrogate Town. Um, he was one that I thought was gonna push it. I know under Neil Warnock he got a few opportunities, but then he got injured, and the injury meant that when he went on loan to Queen of the South, it didn't quite work out there. He's come back, he's regained his fitness, but yeah, he's joined Harrogate Town on a permanent. So best of luck to Sam. But yeah, that is going to wrap up this week's episode. I hope you I've all enjoyed this very strange weather. It's raining, there's a thunderstorm, but it's absolutely mafting. So yeah, I hope you all have an amazing, amazing week. And yeah, look forward to seeing you on Saturday. Blackpool away. See you later, guys. Bye.